Welcome to Hero Villains. Thank you for always watching and supporting the channel. Who do you think will win in a fight between Bane and Rhino, two muscular monsters on the battlefield? Bane, the infamous villain in the DC universe, was born in Peña Duro prison in Santa Prisca. His childhood was associated with harshness, forcing him to train his body to perfection. Bane is not only famous for his sharp intellect and genius strategy, but also for the Venom serum that enhances his physical strength far beyond that of ordinary people. When injected with Venom, he can lift tens of tons, endure terrible blows, and recover quickly. What makes Bane special is the combination of huge muscles and strategic mind, most clearly demonstrated when he once broke Batman's back. Rhino, Spider-Man's familiar enemy in Marvel Comics, is a product of a scientific experiment. Aleksei Sytsevich, a Russian criminal, volunteered to undergo a body transformation, donning a bio-armor that attached to his skin. This armor made him virtually invulnerable, resistant to bullets, fire, and other devastating attacks. Rhino possesses superhuman strength, capable of destroying tanks and taking down multiple superheroes at once. But his weakness is his lack of strategic intelligence, often acting on instinct. Before we dive into the analysis, please click the subscribe button, and remember to turn on notifications by clicking the bell icon. Thank you very much. Bane. His mother died when he was about 5 years old, right in front of him. Then a prisoner attacked Bane. The child defended himself, the prisoner fell and died. Bane was moved to another cell where there was no light. Every night the cell flooded, so Bane learned to survive by swimming for hours and catching fish with his bare hands. When he was about 20 years old, he was chosen to test a drug that was supposed to create a super soldier, Venom. He was the only one who survived, and he used his powers to escape. Bane was a miracle case. Maybe it was his knowledge of meditation and his ability to control his body. Maybe it was his will and his ability to stay calm, but whatever the reason, he survived the drug and even had a much stronger reaction than the other prisoners. He transformed into a giant beast and quickly killed the scientists, guards, and staff in the prison lab. He then punched a large hole in the concrete wall leading outside. That's when he learned about the horrifying side effects of the drug. It wore off extremely quickly and caused terrible withdrawal symptoms. It was addictive. His actions sparked a riot, and by killing as many guards as possible, he made things especially bad. He saw the formula for Venom written on a blackboard in the lab, and with his extensive knowledge of biochemistry, he memorized it. He then set fire to and destroyed all evidence of the drug before escaping. He fled as far north as he could, hiding in the shadows. With all his strength and ability, he had spent his life fighting for power and respect in a cruel world, and now he was free. Then he discovered Gotham and Batman, so he decided to go there to prove that he was stronger than Batman. Bane is one of the formidable opponents. He possesses terrible physical strength and a sharp mind, enough to make him a real nightmare for any hero. Bane has proven his superiority when confronting powerful people such as Killer Croc, KG Beast, Nightwing, Joker, and even Batman himself. In his normal state, but when using the Venom serum, his body reaches the peak of its strength. With Venom, he can easily lift objects weighing up to 2 tons, sometimes even reaching 3 tons, but this also has the potential to cause him to lose control for a moment. Bane is not just a muscle man dependent on Venom, but he is also portrayed as a comprehensive strategist, someone who possesses both absolute physical strength and cold composure and precise calculation. Bane is considered one of the few opponents capable of defeating Solomon Grundy and Amygdala, giants known for their overwhelming strength. Although Grundy is often portrayed as a near-invincible force, his power is unstable, to the point that even Batman has been able to exploit his weakness to defeat him. However, Bane's defeat of Grundy is not simply a demonstration of his brute strength, but also demonstrates his superior calculation, patience, and strategy in battle. And Grundy has shown that he can hold his own against Gotham, an entity that can easily defeat the entire Justice League in a short time. Bane single-handedly took on Batman's massive collection of enemies for over 9 hours. What's amazing is that he not only held his ground, but also maintained the initiative in the fight. He possessed such overwhelming strength that even Killer Croc, considered Batman's most muscular and formidable villain at the time, was put below him. However, when placed next to Superman, the difference became clear. The Man of Steel's immense strength made Bane look like a small man struggling in a storm. If Batman, with his intelligence and skill, could still find an opportunity to hurt him, then Superman could completely end the battle quickly and neatly. Bane became a real nightmare thanks to the Venom serum, a physical enhancement that pushed his muscles beyond their natural limits. Despite his body swelling with enormous strength, his intelligence was completely unaffected. This is where Bane differs, as he is both a highly skilled melee fighter and a master strategist who can predict and control the outcome of a fight. His combination of strength and intelligence makes him a much more dangerous opponent than those who rely solely on their muscles. Even Superman had trouble restraining Bane. If the Man of Steel cannot control him without causing unintended harm, it is a reflection of the terrifying power that Venom brings. What is even more frightening is that this substance seems to only be fully effective in Bane's body. When he uses Venom, Bane becomes an endless nightmare that even the greatest heroes must be wary of. Bane stands out because his strength is obtained through perseverance, hard work, and an iron will. That is what makes him an ambitious opponent with an uncompromising determination and the manufacture factors to a viewed row, reflecting a sharp intelligence that makes anyone who faces him terrified. I really hope you subscribe to the channel. It will help us a lot, and you are the best. Thank you so much. Aleksei Sytsevich was just another thug in the Russian mafia, lured by the dream of easy money and plunged into a short, brutal, and depraved life. Lured by the promise of wealth and power, Aleksei underwent months of life-threatening chemotherapy and radiation treatments to transform himself into a superhumanly powerful agent for a group of professional spies. In part, this was to provide for his family. Aleksei's powerful suit was modeled after the skin of a rhinoceros. Two scientists named Igor and Georgi chose this form, both for its visual appeal and because they realized that the rhinoceros was the result of countless generations of evolution toward the ultimate form of assault armor. They chose Aleksei for his muscular build and low intelligence, factors they believed would ensure his loyalty. Rhino, the giant, whose code name is associated with his thick-horned armor, is one of the most formidable opponents that superheroes have ever faced. The horns on his armor are sharp and hard enough to damage even the classic Hulk, a testament to his destructive power beyond imagination. With a single blow, Rhino can destroy heavy metal doors designed to block extremely powerful attacks. In many battles, he has thrown Nova straight into space, easily holding Spider-Man with one hand as if he were a small prey. The hard metal pillars in his hands become fragile, torn apart like paper. Rhino's punches carry terrible weight, enough to blow away everything in his path, even piercing the impenetrable skin of the Juggernaut in some confrontations. And he once crushed Sandman, causing his entire sandy body to be reduced to fine dust. Not only is Rhino known for his mechanical strength, he is also known for his giant appearance and bulging muscles, making him appear like a heavyweight fighter coming out of a giant arena. Having faced off against great names such as Hulk, Thor, and Silver Surfer many times, Rhino has become a symbol of durability and destruction. Each of his steps is like thunder. Each of his punches is a disaster that can shake the earth. In the eyes of his enemies, he is not just an opponent, but the embodiment of primitive brutality covered in invincible steel armor. However, he is not a true heavy hitter and can only last for a certain amount of time against a true heavyweight fighter. His strength index will be at par. At 7, he is just low. Some characters have superior energy projection, but are not really physically strong, and Marvel would consider them strong characters because they have incredibly powerful abilities. Not just strength, like Doctor Strange. Because of his magical abilities, he is a powerful puncher, but still has the physical strength of a man who does moderate exercise. Rhino has nothing but strength and is the perfect Spider-Man villain because of his size, making for great fight scenes. In the process of defeating Rhino, Spider-Man obtained a small piece of the Rhino's skin and examined it with Dr. Connors, wanting to find the answer behind this. Eventually, he and Dr. Connors came up with a countermeasure involving webs. Spider-Man also learned 2 things. First, once it attacked, Rhino could not change direction or easily stop its advance, and second, Aleksei was quite stupid. With this new type of web, along with his speed and agility, Spider-Man was able to defeat Rhino once and for all, as well as melt its precious skin. However, that did not stop Rhino from making Spider-Man his only real target to deal with, nor did he stop Rhino. From that day on, Spider-Man and Rhino became enemies. Aleksei was quite stupid. Spider-Man deduced that if he could avoid a direct hit from Rhino's horns, his superior tactical skills and agility would always make him the ultimate victor in any fair fight. Spider-Man defeated Rhino, taking the villain to a special state correctional hospital, where he was kept under heavy sedation. Rhino's first mission after being enhanced was to kidnap Dr. Robert Bruce Banner, an expert in biochemical gamma ray experiments, also known as the Hulk. The agents planned to force Banner to develop an army of gamma ray treated superhuman assassins. When Rhino attempted to kidnap Banner, Banner transformed into the Hulk and overpowered Rhino by lifting a gasoline truck onto him, setting it on fire and severely injuring Rhino, tearing his suit apart and seemingly killing him. In fact, the Hulk believed him dead by the end of the battle. However, after the Hulk left, Rhino was discovered alive but in a state of shock and taken to a high security state facility. The battle between Rhino and the Hulk attracted the attention of the Hulk's archenemy Leader, who decided that gamma treatment would give Rhino enough strength to defeat the Hulk. Leader freed Rhino from the state facility, awakening him and augmenting his strength with gamma bombardments via his psychokinesis. Leader also recreated Rhino's suit for him. Leader then sent Rhino to crash the wedding of Bruce Banner and Betty Ross. Successfully interrupting the wedding, Rhino engaged the Hulk in battle. When Leader accidentally shot him with a gamma radiation blast intended for the Hulk, Rhino betrayed Leader, believing Leader had betrayed him and causing Leader's escape module to explode after takeoff. In the dark night of an abandoned industrial area, the sound of metal echoed between the old warehouses. The yellow light from the street lamps fell on the cracked ground, reflecting on the cold steel of the rusted containers. In the midst of the gloomy scene, 2 giant figures entered the center, carrying the breath of a storm about to explode. Bane, the man who once made Gotham tremble, his biceps bulging, his body bulging with the venom flowing through his veins. His eyes were sharp, calculating every move like a strategist who never entered a battle without knowing the outcome. Opposite him was Rhino, a mass of muscle covered in towering gray armor, each step shaking the ground. The sharp horn on his head flashed a dim light, carrying the threat of death. The air was thick with tension. Each breath compressed into a deep roar. Bane slowly clenched his fists, veins bulging, while Rhino lowered his body, preparing to launch a charge that could destroy a wall of steel. These 2 colossal forces, one a symbol of human intelligence and strength pushed to the limit, the other a primal nightmare clad in brutal armor, were about to collide in a battle that would shake the night. When he roared, the sound echoed like thunder, then his feet slammed into the ground, launching him straight forward with a charge that carried the weight of a speeding train. Rhino's charge hit like a storm, but Bane did not retreat. He leaned forward, his steely hands grabbing the horn, the entire ground cracking under the terrible pressure. For a moment, the 2 giants stood locked in combat. the wind swirling violently around their bodies. Rhino tried to crush his opponent, but Bane tightened his grip, every muscle flexing against the force that seemed to blow him off the ground. Bane smiled coldly, then twisted his hips, using all his strength to throw Rhino aside. The giant armor slammed into the container, the steel shattered, and metal dust flew into the sky. But Rhino did not stay down for long. He jumped up, roared, and charged again, this time faster, more ferociously, like a furious beast that had been angered. The sound of metal echoed throughout the industrial park as Rhino once again charged like a steel train that had lost its brakes. Each step he took shook the ground, his sharp horn aimed straight at Bane, determined to tear his opponent's body apart. Bane remained motionless, his cold eyes watching like a master, waiting for the only moment to strike. Just as Rhino rushed to within a few steps, Bane pumped a strong stream of venom into his body, his muscles swelling to the point that it seemed like they could explode. At the decisive moment, he leaned away from the fatal charge and tightened his arms like a vice, locking Rhino's neck from behind. The force of the grip caused Rhino's entire giant body to stop. His breathing was heavy, his growls were choked. Without stopping, Bane used all his strength to twist his hips, lifting the living steel block up and slamming it down onto the concrete floor. The impact echoed like an earthquake, the ground cracked into large pieces. Rhino was lost, but before he could react, Bane had gathered all his strength, launching the infamous backbreaker, bending his giant back in one brutal movement. The entire industrial park fell into silence, save for Bane's heavy breathing. Rhino lay motionless, his armor cracked, his breathing weak like a subdued beast. Bane let his opponent down, his eyes shining with cold indifference. For him, this was not just a victory, but a testament to the absolute intelligence and power of a person who knows how to control both himself and the battle. In the thick darkness, Bane stood upright among the ruins, his body towering like an impregnable pillar. The victory engraved his name into the darkness, affirming that even though Rhino was a giant block of living steel, he still could not overcome the strength and strategy of the Bat's backbreaker. And Bane was the winner. I hope you enjoyed this fight. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. Follow me if you like. That's it for today's video. Thank you very much.